Hello lovelies, I'm Christina and today we're doing a Top 5 Wednesday. Today's topic is the top 5 books you've picked up because of BookTube, blogging, etc. For this Top 5 Wednesday, I'm going to pick the top 5 books that I've read because of BookTube and my book blog. I think probably all of these books are books that I wouldn't have picked up if it weren't for BookTube and for my book blog. So I'm very, very grateful for the community and for the amount of love and books that I've come across because of it. Now let's start off with a book from a booktuber, or a YouTuber at least, and that is On the Other Side by Carrie Fletcher. I've talked about this before. I really love her storytelling. This is a story about Evie Snow. Evie passes away at 82, and when she comes to the door of her personal heaven, her soul is too heavy to pass through. So she becomes her 27-year-old self, and she has to go back and try to correct the things that has made her soul too heavy so that she can get light enough to get through. It's just a really interesting, cute, magical realism story. The characters are so adorable and I just love the magical realism in this. Carrie Fletcher is a fantastic writer and I'm very curious to read more of her stuff. I already did a review of All That She Can See, which is her second fictional novel. I will link to that so you can go check that out, which is equally as good. And yeah, if it weren't for BookTube, I probably would have never even picked this up. Next up is a graphic novel, and that is The Sculptor by McCloud. This is a story about David. David is a struggling sculptor and he makes a deal with death that makes him be able to create anything with his bare hands. The backside of the deal is that he only gets 200 more days to live. After he has gotten this ability, he then meets the love of his life, and it is a struggle that he goes through with creating all of this beautiful art that he can now make with his bare hands, and coping with knowing that he will have to lose the love of his life after just a very short amount of time. It's so beautiful. The artwork is magnificent and the story is so good. This, I believe, still is the only graphic novel that has ever made me cry. It's so wonderful. Highly recommend. I don't remember which booktuber who recommended this, but I saw a couple of reviews and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get this. And afterwards, it's become one of my absolute favorites. Next up is a book that I came across, well, on several BookTube channels actually, but the one that made me like, oh yeah, I really want to read it. And luckily I was sent a Norwegian ARC for it as well, so it was perfect timing. That was a review that was done by Campbell. Amazing booktuber, you all know her, but I will link to her channel anyways. Maybe if I can find like the review she did of it, or where she talked about it, I will see what I can find. But she talked about it as The Walking Dead and Roald Dahl's Matilda having a book baby, and I was sold right there. And that is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. This is the Norwegian covers, that's why the title and everything is a bit different. But it's just a truly unique and different kind of way to tell a zombie story. Really enjoyed this one. I don't think I want to say much about the story. It's really good to go blindly into this one, and all it says on the back is like every morning they strap Melanie down to a wheelchair. She is then rolled into the classroom by 2 armed men. Melanie don't think they like her. I don't bite, she says, but none of them laughs. So like I said, go into it blindly. Just know that it's a zombie story. It's very, very good. Next up is a book that I first saw, I think, hauled on Elena's channel. I love Elena's videos and I always trust her judgment when it comes to books, and she reads so fast. She reads a lot of books. I wish I could read at the pace that she does. It's amazing. I am blown away by it. It is Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I've talked about this book a few times. I also read the sequel to it, which is Waking Gods. Enjoyed that just as much. It's a story about a girl who falls down to a hole in the ground. They find her on top of a big giant metal hand, and when she grows up, she then works for a science team that's trying to solve the mystery of the giant metal body parts that keeps on showing up all over the world. So it's just very interesting science fiction read, very different, and I absolutely love this story. The second one was just as good, and I can't wait for the third book to come out. The last book I want to show off is one that I've shown before, but it's a really long time ago. This book was sent to me, I think I won it via a giveaway on Goodreads. So the author sent it directly to me, and I did a review. I absolutely loved it. That is Afterlife by Ionson. Oh, such a good book. I think I just want to read the back for you because that explains it so much better than what I've been trying to put together in my mind. It says, fear erupts in the nation of Gasgeo when Sir Mikas returns heralding a cryptic doom, and Cayman and his fellow warrior Leets, the wolfhounds, make ready for war. But Cayman discovers that the kingdom's preparations were for naught when he awakes in a realm far more harrowing than the battlefield, for they have crossed over into the land of the dead. Now Cayman must fight for the salvation of Gasgea, knowing all the while that he is being hunted by damnation. It's so good. It's a dark fantasy novel told in a really interesting and unique way, and I enjoyed it so much. So if you want a really different dark fantasy novel, I would highly recommend this. It's such a good read. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 books that I picked up because of BookTube, book blogging, etc. And let me know what books you've picked up because of BookTube and book blogging. It's always interesting to see what books crosses people's paths because of social media and media platforms. It's really interesting, and you just gotta be grateful for the books that you wouldn't have picked up otherwise. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching. It's been fun to do a top 5 Wednesday. I haven't done one in forever. Let me know if you liked it. Give me a thumbs up if you did. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video soon. Goodbye!